Welcome, dear viewers. Welcome to the international discussion. On May 7th, 2022, there was a global forum, We Are People, We Want to Live, organized by volunteers from 180 countries. On this event that was streamed live on thousands of channels and platforms, it was interpreted into more than 100 languages. We raised vital topics that are a threat to humanity, such as climate change, wars, problems with ecology, insufficiency of drinking water, hunger, human trafficking, slavery, and many more. Many of these topics are also discussed in the media. But today, in the most of the cases, no one mentions the true causes of all of these events, and especially doesn't provide any sustainable solution. This format of international discussion is a platform not only to deepen this discussion, deepen these topics, but also to come up with a solution. And today's society, we have to bring our potential together. And we are also very pleased that we have our honored guests, the valuable experience. And together today, we will outline specific steps how to move away from the consumer society and what is the true cause of all these issues, these problems that we are facing. And today, it's very important to understand that everyone is valuable, and it's great that you see us. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And Creative Society is a platform to unite the entire humanity, since uniting people is the key to move away from consumer format of society to a new model in which human life is on the first place and there's no power of one man over another. There isn't any uncertainty in the tomorrow's day. There are no crises or inflation. And it is absolutely real, but it requires our active participation. And just like our today's guests have made a decision to actively participate. And that's why it's my honor to introduce our today's guests, Zakia Khan, founder, Hamad the Helping Hand and Zakia Hamad Foundation, proprietor Alzak Enterprises, Vice President Tehelka, social and women activist from India. Welcome, Zakia. And then also Benjamin Hoen. Benjamin has been an active participant of Creative Society, and Benjamin comes from Germany. Welcome, Benjamin. And so,
Willkommen, Freunde. Schön bei euch zu sein.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. And so today we'll be discussing following topics. Charity funds. Are they a solution to our problems today? If we manage to take on responsibility and build creative society, how we all will be able to benefit from existing technologies that we already have today but are not used in current consumer format of society. We'll also share a deep dive into the benefits of what creative society brings to us people, to every one of us, and also how to spread the message of creative society. And I would like to propose we start with the video that outlines the current situation, how organizations are claiming to solve the problems our society is facing today.
Perhaps you may think it will never happen to you, while those people have been given all the help they needed and they are now safe. And indeed, there is now a huge number of organizations and foundations dedicated to helping people. The largest of them, the United Nations, is positioning itself as the guarantor of peace and security of humankind. For decades, we have been hearing beautiful slogans and promises from high rostrums. If you listen to these loud statements, it may seem that we will solve all our problems. There will be no more poverty, no more hunger, no more wars, and we will all live well. After all, there are over 100 international organizations working under the aegis of the United Nations to solve the world's problems. For every new problem, a new organization is created. Every year, UN member states pay huge contributions to these organizations. In fact, this is money from our pockets. These are the taxes we pay to the state. Between 2010 and 2020, according to official data, the 44 UN organizations alone raised $540.4 billion. Contributions to the UN organizations have increased by 58% over 10 years. But let's take a look at what we have achieved over this period of time. The largest amount of money today goes to solving the problem of hunger. The main UN organizations to tackle this problem are the World Food Program, WFP, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. They have raised $79.8 billion over the last 10 years. Current estimates are that almost 690 million people are hungry in the world and 750 million people are severely food insecure. The Food and Agriculture Organization itself predicts an even greater increase in hunger by 2030. 841 million people. So, the World Food Program is projecting funding needs for 2022 already at $13.9 billion. So they say, there will be more hungry people, so they need more money. It is a legitimate question. How is it that, with ever-increasing funding, the problem itself is only becoming worse? Let's look at another problem, the refugee problem. The number of refugees has doubled over the past 10 years, comprising 82.4 million in 2020. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, deals with refugee issues. Over the past 10 years, funding for the organization has increased by 56%, reaching $4.8 billion in 2020. Let's look at what kind of help they provide to people. One area of refugee assistance is shelter. On their website, they state, the main part of our protection mission is to guarantee access to proper shelter in humanitarian emergencies. We provide tents, distribute plastic sheeting, and develop strategies, tools, and guidance in emergency situations, and provide emergency assistance to those who need it most. On cold nights or hot days, our help can be the deciding factor between life and death. In an emergency, tarpaulin tents are an adequate short-term measure. But people live in such tent camps for years in inhumane conditions with no hope of the future. Due to the lack of even basic sanitation conditions, people die of infectious diseases. Who benefits from the problem not being solved? As long as there is a problem, there is funding. And if the problem is solved, there will be no funding and therefore no organizations. As long as there is a financial interest, as long as someone makes money from it, no one will solve the problem. The UN itself is very much like a transnational corporation in its structure. There is a parent company that coordinates and manages the activities of its other companies, but each brand is a separate business entity. In 2020, more than $3.7 billion was spent to maintain the UN bureaucracy. On staff and director salaries, health insurance, holidays, business class flights, and other expenses. The planned expenditures for the renovation of the Palace of Nations alone in Switzerland, where the UN headquarters is located, is $871 million. With this money, 174,000 houses could be built using 3D printing technology. How many refugee families could benefit from this housing? But alas, building homes for those in need is not a priority for their aid. What do we have in the end? Numerous organizations that we have entrusted with the responsibility of solving serious problems of humanity turn out, on closer examination, to be merely business structures. It becomes obvious that there is a direct interest in the growth and aggravation of problems. In other words, it is beneficial for someone that people starve, struggle to survive, and make wars with each other. And that is the cynicism of the consumerist format of society. Creating the illusion of solving a problem without the real goal of eradicating it is a principle of the consumerist format. Under such conditions, it is tantamount to anesthesia for a fatal illness. And even closing or reforming some organizations or firing some individuals will not save the situation, because new ones will come in their place and do the same thing, making money off our lives. Today, because of our tacit support for the consumerist format, we are all on the precipice. The rapid escalation of all crises will soon bring us all, without exception, to the brink of disaster. What kind of help will we get? A piece of tarpaulin for shelter and a couple of bottles of water?
Yeah, so after watching the whole forum and after actually digging into this issue, we understand that as long as there is a problem, there is a funding. And just we have one ask. Imagine a situation when all of the issues such as hunger and poverty have been solved. Then it would be not funded anymore. And there are millions of people employed in these organizations whose life and the life of their families are bound to this funding. People who have pure intention to help others. And as a result of this current format, as a result of this situation, they will just lose their jobs. And in our society, it's a real issue. But in the creative format of society, everyone has a basic income, and the life of every person is secured. Basic needs are secured. The unemployed people can easily change the field of activity and help other people. They can apply the knowledge and skills in another area without any issues, without any problems. And this approach already been applied in various countries. So they can still work for benefits and to improve the life of others. And there are many technologies that can be used. And exactly this, what really impressed me on the conference. And I have the question to our guests, so maybe you have comments on this. And what impressed you on the forum? Please share it with us.
After watching this video, first of all, it made you to close your eyes for 2 minutes and get relaxed and realize what exactly is being pictured to us is far, far, far away from the reality. And since I am a person of ground, I know this reality, but still sometimes it becomes very hard for us to bear and digest those things. Because what is going on is completely a propaganda. What is going on is completely on the papers. The reality, what we show and for what we ask the payment or fund is really not that what we are doing or what we are appeared to be doing. Okay. And this is not just UN. As you told, it's a lot of small NGOs and a lot of small foundations also working the same work, same way. They are just trying to get funded. In a day, I sometimes receive more than 10 calls just for requesting for fund. So there is a complete, channelized system. They call, they request for fund, and those who are calling, they definitely have to be paid because they are doing their jobs. They are not doing something for the social welfare. But if you talk about somebody like me or somebody who all are joined with the creative society, they are trying to bring a change without any kind of funding. We won't say that we don't need the funding, but even though if we are getting it, it is going to be channelized in a proper manner. Because if somebody is giving 5 rupees from the pocket, that is very big thing. And these days, like especially as I was interacting with you people, and I acknowledge that without any kind of corporate CSR fund or any government fund, I have already rescued more than 60 kids who were about to be trafficking to Dubai and other places, and there were more than 11 minor rape cases which was handled. Even I have adopted a lot of families and kids, and some of them are disabled. So that is not all what we need. We don't need all the time, every time, the pennies, monies, funds. The motive, what we have to do, the platform, how to present it, how you are moving with your ambitions and your goals, and watching that, the people will start getting connected with you. As what is happening with the creative society, you can see. You started with single panel, and now you have such a lot worldwide. Why? Because we know that the crisis is there, things are happening. We are talking, like you are talking, I'm talking right now. In this movement, when we are discussing, even in that movement, a girl child may be raped, a kid because of hunger might have died, a fetus maybe because of girl fetus might be aborted, maybe a girl or a woman or anybody because of unemployment, because of the crisis of hunger and other reasons, crime rate has come above the level. So might have killed somebody in the movement when we are discussing. So what exactly we need to do is to come with a solution, because we all know that this is happening, that is happening, this is happening, maybe there, maybe something has changed in my country to your country. Maybe we are getting a rape cases in the highest rank, but you might be getting the hunger death because of hunger in the higher risks. So, but problems are there. We know how we have to come up with the solution. What exactly is the solution? I always talk with my colleagues and I always say them we have to create something parallel to the government. Why parallel to the government? Because government is doing what they have to do. They are making policies, they are making slogans, and then just living it as it is. You must have heard that there was a lot of crisis of oxygen and a lot of country, even the UN has done the charity to India. In the meantime, there was a lot of celebrities and other humanitarian people who have done even the charity. That all charity has gone to the UN charity fund. Okay. Being a RTI activist and social activist, especially women activists, you can say, we have devote a lot of time to the government to present the details where it is being used, because the country was begging even after getting a lot of charity. People were still dying, lack of oxygen. Was there the oxygen crisis really? No. Why no? Because coal minings were still running. The coal minings need a lot of oxygen to be run. I know this could be a reason for me to be hated in my country, but this is a bitter truth. You cannot decline, you cannot close your eyes and move on. You have to accept, and after accepting what you could do, you could manage a parallel system. A parallel system which we have to work on. The parallel system like Satya Hamdard is doing, like Creative Society is doing. Am I able to fulfill everyone's need on my own? No, never. I cannot imagine. That is not my path. But at least I can connect those people who can help them. That's what exactly you people are doing, and I love you all for this. It's really appreciable because I'm doing something, maybe I might be covering India, and you are doing something which might cover whole world together. And even Indian people some people who might be not knowing about Satya Hamdard, who might not be knowing about me, what I'm doing, could understand and come to know by your platform. That's really lovely. So what exactly we do? Are we asking and begging for the funds? No. I have my own profession to do. I have my own business to run. And after fulfilling, maybe if I earn 10 rupees from my salary, that might be a requirement, a basic requirement for my home to fulfill my kids and my home needs to keep myself well off. But apart from that, whatever is coming by my social activism or by my business or by my any kind of other activity, like I do exhibition for paintings or something, whatever comes, that is a perk for me. And that perk could be easily used for somebody's family to be. But who will bring the zeal in themselves? I don't think everyone will come because I know there is more than 8K shares when I bake for cloth charity. But how many of them come out? They're nanos. But that nano is sufficient for me because that nano will somehow, someday will become into crores. That is the belief and that is the motive what we are. Not since I was saying that I'm not at all able to do all the works. So who is going to do? The one who is connected with me. Why they are connected? Because they have seen Zakia working and taking out money from her own pocket and investing on the right path for the right person. Now he is also or she is also ready to do the same. Maybe not investing, but she can or he can do the legal part. He or she could maybe contribute in the medical part. He or she could maybe contribute in the teaching part. A lot of things, a lot of people can contribute, but you have to judge whether you really want, you really wish to, or you just want to talk about the problems, because problems are never going to be end. You have to talk about the solution. And solution is where you stand, what you start. If you take the example of Gandhiji, he would have never started a movement and people would have never joined him and we would have never got the freedom. A lot of examples, not just him. A lot of examples we can have. So this was what really attracted me and this is really what we have to do. And apart from this, to elaborate in a better way and bigger form, definitely we can start with the small activities where we can even ask few of the companies after showing our activities. for the right charity with a complete transparent logs. Because these days everything is on paper, but transparency is not there. Truth is far, far, far away. There is no truth. It's all picture. There is a slogan in India which runs very uh, in a, like everywhere you can find out. There is a it's this you can find out this slogan. It's a Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao. But the slogan, when it was established, it was after 2014. And if you go to the record, you will find out there is a lot of rape cases, a lot of tortures, a lot of domestic violence, a lot of crime rates has increased after this. So why after this slogan? It should have stopped. The slogan is already placed. The policies are already in place. Why not holding this? Why not stopping it? Because they are just in the paper. We need a parallel system. This is the demand of the country. This is the demand of the nation. This is the demand of all those hungry people who are still waiting in hope that, okay, somehow, someday, some people will come through Creative Society or through Zakia Hamzad or any other channel who really have the zeal to work for. I think I've told enough.
Yes, thank you. It was very interesting. And indeed, actually, it seems that there are nice people willing to help in every organization, in every, let's say, charity, even in the governments. There are just people who are trying to make their way in a life, you know. And it seems that we all are trapped in the consumer format of society that makes us do these things, that makes us do this, you know, as you said, that all of the human rights and everything is on the paper, but is not fulfilled. And you also very correctly said that one man or woman alone cannot do this change. But if we unite everyone on his or her place, if we basically synchronize and bring together our potential, this can be changed. This can be changed at least if we start demanding, you know, some reports, how the funds have been spent, etc. This is already going to be a start. So thank you very much for that. And I would like to turn to Benjamin, because we also know that you are an active participant of Creative Society. So can you share with us, Benjamin, what were the most touching topics for you that you have heard on the Global Forum on May 7th?
Yes, greetings, friends. I'm honored to have the opportunity to share with you and to be with you today. Also, Sakia, thank you. I agree 100% with what you have shared. There were some very, very emotional pictures at the forum. The truth was voiced about which I didn't even suspect that I was really so. Here in the German-speaking space, we are increasingly being accused of these images causing fear, or that we are engaged in the propaganda of fear regarding the Creative Society project. And I just seriously ask myself, these people have been asleep for the past 2 years, and it's really true that many of our participants around the world are going through very difficult situations right now. Circumstances are such that their homes are being destroyed by natural disasters. Many of them are in places where there are wars, riots, and much scarier things, when they are being deprived of their lives right now. In relation to us, in the Western world, we are told that we are engaged in fear and propaganda, that none of this is real or bad, that people are dying right now. And it's not just a few people, it's tens of thousands of people who are losing everything. all their livelihoods. I am a father of 2 daughters myself, and I really ask myself, where is humanity? Where is the unity that we are supposed to have? I really ask myself, if a human is just a commodity for sale on some kind of sales board, is it really that bad? Yes, we do have a kind of humanity when we say we are a civilization. It's just wonder where. When we are accused of these things, and I see that truthfulness quite clearly. A leading economist shared how crises like this arise. Yes, why? How are such crises created? And it's never been so clear and unambiguous to me. He shared, for example, that enslavement through war has always been present in our society for the last 2,000 to 3,000 years, but the economy.
Dass die Versklavung durch Kriege die letzten 2.000 bis 3.000 Jahre.
He shared that the enslavement through war has always been present in our society for the last 2,000 to 3,000 years.
Yes, in that we have a technical issue. Okay. Thank you so much, Benjamin, for things that you shared, and exactly, that's a very important question that we need to ask ourselves. And are we really humans? Are we humane? We tell about it everywhere, that we are such kind persons, such civilized, and etc., because we are leading, we have modern technologies, we have everything. But what are we doing with other people? Where is our hearts? How can we sleep well when we know that some other person is in need? Is that humane? To close eyes on the issues, to close eyes on the problems. Today we delegate our responsibility to others, to governments, to organizations, and as a result, we actually do not have access to these existing technologies that would considerably improve our lives. We do not have them just because they are not profitable for others, or they're just too expensive and people cannot pay for them. But in the creative society, this will be not a problem. We will not delegate our power. We'll make sure that this technology will reach everyone and will be available to every human being. And we can take, for example, technologies that could already save today a lot of lives.
How many people do you think die in car accidents? We lose 1,300,000 people a year in road accidents. That's comparable to population of Prague or Dallas or even the whole of Estonia. Just imagine entire countries die out every 10 years. 13 million is more than the population of Sweden, Cuba, or the Arab Emirates, and is more than Lebanon and Singapore combined. Up to 50 million more people are injured in road accidents, and many of them are left with disabilities. Strangely enough, the weakest link on the road is a person himself. In over 90% of cases, the human factor is the main cause of accidents. Why should we pay for mobility with our lives? After all, the technology to make roads completely safe already exists. Modern cars are capable of communicating with each other and with surrounding objects to avoid collision, warning the driver about a dangerous situation and taking over control in emergency situations. In low visibility conditions, recognizing pedestrians, animals, or road accidents and maneuvering in time. Identifying and reacting to road signs and traffic lights and projecting prompts onto the road surface. Blocking the engine start if the driver is intoxicated. Reading facial expressions, detecting drowsiness, distractions, and signaling the driver. If they are unresponsive, the vehicle will turn on its emergency lights, head to the side of the road, and stop. Creating a hologram using LiDAR and augmented reality, allowing the driver to see through objects. Traffic management system based on artificial intelligence is able to understand the full picture of traffic, control traffic, prevent traffic jams, and coordinate the flow of cars in case of accidents. In low visibility conditions, it can transmit a signal to the car about a pedestrian that is about to jump out or about another vehicle running a red light. This smart infrastructure is even able to intervene in the event of a threat of collision and activate the brakes. Technology already allows the pavement to soak up water and heat the road to eliminate ice. It can also charge the electric vehicle while driving. Innovations can additionally protect pedestrians. For example, a smart zebra crossing and smart traffic light will react to sudden pedestrian movements and create additional road markings for drivers. They will make crosswalks more visible or even project a holographic wall. All this technology could already make traffic safer and save millions of lives. But why are they not being introduced on a large scale into the transport infrastructure and not included in the standard configuration of every car? In a consumerist format, it's too expensive to save our lives. Road traffic injuries are the leading cause of death among children and young people. It is not a fatal coincidence. It is simply a genocide. Do you feel calm today when your child is crossing the road on their own? In a consumerist format, you have no choice but to hope for good luck. The most important thing we are all obliged to do is to build a creative society. A society where you don't have to pay for your life's protection, where all the cutting-edge, life-saving technologies are implemented instantly and are available to everyone. The creative society is a society where it is you and your life that count.
So this video was an introduction to the second topic already, but before we move to that, we would just like to come back to Benjamin and hear his experience from the forum till the end. Benjamin, please share.
Yes, sorry friends for the bad connection. Yes, with pleasure. Yes, we stopped at this leading economist, and I'd like to share with you how economists do it. They deliberately go into countries to drive them into a lot of debt and put those countries in a tough spot. And then the resources of the country that the economists need for their country or to finance their companies, they buy up for nothing at the expense of high debt, because these countries are actually left at the beginning in a war. that no one of these people in the countries want, or just this crisis, economic crisis, or whatever you want to call all the crises, they are driving countries into those crises thanks to high debt. And the debt that 1% of people of this country create will have to be worked off by 99% of people of this country, and worked off their whole lives, and not just one generation, but the next, and the next. And friend, it really showed me what kind of world we live in and what human life is worth. These countries finance debt with tax revenues and money from pension funds or the healthcare system. And the crisis of the masses and the country is predictable. Then this country and the people who live in it will be shamelessly exploited until there's nothing left. And then that country is simply discarded, and then they move on to the next country. Is that humane? Is that civilized? Are people really nothing more than commodities? We went even further to gross domestic product. I just want to briefly share something that really struck me. Most people don't know or understand that the worth of a country is measured by the gross domestic product. He told that in America, for example, 3 people own as much as capital as half the country's population. So it's 3 people. And now imagine 3 people in this country make 10% profit, and half the people in this country make 3% loss. And the other half of the country stays the same. Then the country records a GDP growth of almost 4%. It is crazy to think that this country is making any profit. People are supposedly benefiting, but in fact they are getting worse. Are we so naive that we continue to give these liars and crooks our vitality and our lifetime? We must unite. And here, Sakia, I agree with you 100%. The only format, a human format, is the creative society. And this forum on 7th of May once again made me realize that we need to wake up, talk, and above all, share with as many people as possible that there is a real chance to make this forum or this creative society project a reality, not only in one country, but in the whole world. Thank you, friends.
So thank you, Benny. Thank you for what you just said. And we just saw in the video that it was there, that we have a lot of potential. We have these technologies that can really solve a lot of issues. And we have it right now. It's not like dreaming, or it's not like far future. We already have it right now. But the whole format is built in such a way that we just do not have access to them. And you know, when you even start thinking how we can change everything, how this transition can come, we understand that this transition and access to these new technologies is only available in the creative society. And what we need to do is we need to just start talking about it, just start spreading the news about creative society, as simple as that. We need to make an electoral demand. And in order to explain it to other people, in order to really be motivated, we need to really understand what kind of benefits we will have in creative society. And I would like to ask our guests, can you please share your vision how the area of your interest will look like in creative society, or maybe the issue that you're working right now can be solved in creative society. Can you please just share your understandings and your vision of creative society with us, please? Zakia, can you?
Shall I? Okay. When we talk about the technologies, okay, especially AI, if you talk, has really done wonders. Even when there is any kind of disaster, they give the alarm earlier. Okay, early alarm is always rescuing the public from there is quite easy for government or whoever is there. Maybe if UN is working or somebody, whoever is there. But is rescuing the person's life and bringing them to the refugee camps is the only thing what we need to do? No. Because why these problems are coming? Is it because nature is against us? Or nature is just changing? No, it's not always that. It is because we are trying to create something of our own wish. Like, for example, I will give you an example of India only, where there is dams have been created. A lot of the paths has been changed, motivated to from other lines. Why? Because they were so that the public could be able, some bureaucrats could be able to create the big resorts and hotels. And out of that, what happened? What was the result? Does that resort existed? Does the life of that area become greater? No. The nature has revolted. And in its revolt, what happened? A lot of flood, drought, landscapes. These are the situation which is coming. And out of this situation, what is happening? Again, there is a crisis of the property loss, the human life loss, not all lives, but of course, when there is a disaster without a lot of sources, if it comes to you cannot, everyone cannot be saved. And they are left over on the deathbed, deciding whom to be carried and whom not to be carried on the basis of age and other reasons. So, and then after that, what? Bringing them to the refugee camp and leaving them on their own conditions. Just giving a packet of food and water and a plastic coated tent is not the solution what the humanity requires. What was the benefit of establishing those resorts or something else? I'm just taking the example of resort, but it's not always resorts. Okay, what help? Does the resort earns a lot? No. Who was helped? Only the government. Right? Government has given that property. Government has got the tender to establish another dam, creating another way. And then again, there was a disaster. And then on the name of disaster, again, there was a lot of fund, or maybe the government would show that we are getting a lot of less money, so the tax rates are going to be increased. The burden ultimately is going to come on who? Me and you. Are we really getting supported from this? Or take the example of war, what is happening right now. Why this was happening? I will quote a few words of Bill Clinton's. If you remember, there was an interview in last 2000, I think it was 18 or something. In his interview, he clearly told that a lot of disaster what happened in the World War I and World War II was lesser than what has happened because of the Spanish flu. And soon after this interview, there was a hell-like few, not in 2018, in fact, it was 2020 last or 19 last when he spoke this. And soon after that interview, there was a COVID everywhere. So why I quoted this? Because every person who is just a businessman, who is there to earn, who is not there to earn your soul, who is there to earn money and make money, and who wish that I'm the only survivor and I should have got all the facility and live for whole the entity, maybe whole the life. I should never get any death. So these peoples, we cannot expect any kind of humanity. There was a few guests from other countries, and Gujarat and Mumbai were covered under the walls and somehow somewhere tents. Why they covered it? Because they don't want to show the country, the world, that even in Gujarat, even in Mumbai, even in the metropolitan cities, slums area are surviving. People are compelled to live in apartments, in tents. They don't know what is their future. They don't know what next they will be eating or drinking, because they don't know what the country or politics is doing, because they are busy. They have been compelled to be. Just think about their survival. They really can't think about what the country administration or political power or any other world, UN or WHO is really doing. They are busy in thinking about this. I remember, I think it was 2016, when I celebrated the International Women's Day in a slum area. And it took me whole day to make them understand there is a day for you. Because they never knew what this day means to them. There was nobody who come out from the government or from the policy making or the fund who is collecting the fund to make them understand and realize that this day means a lot to you. This is for you. And out of that whole day, in the initial first half, I realized that they are gathering just for the packet of food. They were not at all interested in what I was explaining and talking. Can you understand the depth of this sentence? They were so hungry that they really don't want to listen to anything. They just, their eyes and mentally their things were on those packets. When these topics will end and when we will be able to eat. At least today, we will be able to eat. I really request to the worldwide people, especially to the policy makers, to the bureaucrats, diplomats, and whoever is showing and proving themselves to be the best for the country and nation and universe and world. Are you really keeping any kind of sense and meaning for those people for whom you are making these laws? If yes, go and spend a single day with them. Leave the night, at least spend your 12 hours daytime with them. And then say that you have done all. If you could say this, I will appreciate. And I will never talk against those things. But you won't be able. Leave that. Why don't you ask why they are creating the game of fear? Because that gives the earning. Because that is the reason from where they get funding. Because that is the reason which make them more and more popular. And एक word होता है, there is a word in Hindi, वर्चस्व, okay, to keep themselves sustainable for as long they wish. They are not in the Raj system, but still it runs like a Raj system. They rule for years and after years and after years. There is a way to poll, but that poll is only for the sake of name. It runs because of economically funding, and sometimes arm or other kind of goon sort of attitude, which create a fear kind of situation in the other peoples, and they rule as they long they wish. And what we are doing, we are just like we are just waiting for some angels to come and save us from all this situation. There is everything what could have happened, what could have easily been bared and brought to us, because we are paying for those things. It's not that they are doing from their own pocket. If you go and ask any parliamentary people, give your 1 month salary, contribute your 1 month salary for such and such cause, will they do? No, they will never do. This all is happening from not their pocket. This is ultimately is happening from our pocket. But we don't have the authority to ask what has exactly happened. There is no transparency. Again, I'm repeating this statement again, which is a very big reason. And we really urge a system on the urgent basis. If we really want this earth to be lived, a system which can parallelly work for the humanity cause, which can really give a hope for the humanity, which can really work for the humanity without putting his or her greed. And that could be, started from few people, many people, small district, big countries, all countries together, depending on how we are going to get connected. So it's time to get connected much more and more, so that people sensing alike us should be together. And I will put one more if you have enough time. There was a case of a NRI woman's marriage, okay? Because in India, a lot of NRIs comes, they marry a woman and then they just elope, okay? So we took this case a lot. We come out on the street, we did a lot. And even Sushma Swaraj, who was our she is no more alive, but she has done wonders. She helped out by bringing a strong policy. In between, there was one case which was of Dubai. Okay. And since I was having few people over there, I could really come out with the help of those Dubai people. Then Dubai people helped with me with the Dubai government, and we asked the government to sack that person and send him back, deport him back to the India. And after he came to India, we started with the all, legal thing process. So this could only happen because I was connected with that person. So connecting is so much important. Connecting worldwide is too much important. So I don't know. I'm really trying to bring out all the problems, and whatever is in my mind, I'm trying to put whether I'm right or wrong, let me know.
Yes,
Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Zakia. And indeed, it seems that the major issue is that we are delegating our power to few representatives who lost the touch with the people they have power about. And this is also the reason for the fact that the technologies that we have got today are not as accessible by most of the people, because today there are conditions in which nothing that wouldn't bring profit is used and widespread. That means if a technology does not bring profit, but just, let's say, helps people, saves lives, it's not of interest, and no one will finance it. And it turns out that the only solution for this is stop delegating power to few politicians, start self-governing the society, start basically replace the role of the politicians, and we people create the conditions in which human life will be above any profit. And this is the only way how the technologies can be made available to all of the people and save human lives. So thank you very much, Zakia. And now I would like to ask the same question, Benny. So is there any field that's close to you or area of life that you would like to share your idea about how creative society can improve it with our viewers? Thank you.
Ja, ich danke euch.
Yes, thank you. Marek and you, Alexander, you mentioned technology in our time. We see, or many people know, that the technology that we have now is for the most part being used against life. And that, in fact, is the insanity of our high-tech times, that none of the real technology has been created for human life is being used. As you aptly put it, everything is only seen in a consumerist way, and the consumerist format cannot be pro-life. It is always against it, because it is profit-oriented. And we see these technologies today. Much better weapons are being produced, much better missiles, and so on. Also, go to Mars, for example. Yes, to live there, on that dead planet, instead of saving our planet here, which is just dying. We would know.
Diesen Planeten, der gerade am Sterben ist, zu retten. Und wir wissen alle.
Yes, it seems that our friend Benny has lost connection. So maybe we can wait a little bit for him to reconnect. And in the meantime, we can maybe ask Zakia to maybe you have shared that the government is not really in touch with the people. So how would you propose for the creative society to be put into practice? What can we do to basically improve any area of our life?
A very good question, and that's what I was waiting for, because this is the main thing what we have to discuss right now. First of all, we have to get connected to each and everyone who is having the same soul, as I told earlier in my conversation. Once you are connected with the same soul, definitely they have the same zeal to work, whether they are funded or not funded. They will definitely try their best to come out with the effective situation solution. Like, for example, if you talk how I'm going to support any group of child with the education, I'm not an educationist. So in that case, I can really wait for few gadgets from the public which are not in use for them. And then we can bring that technology with the help of that technology that we have done in the COVID time. We asked one of the teacher to go with that technology, with that gadget, and stay whole day teaching different age group people, different topics because it's not very easy for a person to teach a whole subject, but then he can make those technology with the help of that technology, with the help of online courses which are free of cost available in the sites. So with those helps, they positively brought a lot of changes in these students who were about to, fail for 2 years. At least they got promoted to the next session. And by chance, or you can say it was pity on me that I can not reach to a lot of people who have been ignored for 2 years of studies because they were not having any kind of technologies available with them. And they were not able to pay for any kind of laptop or any kind of mobile. The government should have taken the initiative. When there is any kind of seminar, there is a big hoarding, there is a big projector in the mid of the roads. You can see a lot of lights are there. Why can't they do it for those kids? Why can't they bring in the slums one projector and ask any diplomats or anybody, SDM or DM, who is in charge of that area, to establish educational system there? Because they don't have that zeal. But we can without any support. We just need to be connected very positively, regular instruction, sharing each other's detail with each other, so that maybe sometime Alexander could help me in some sort of maybe technical support, or I could support him in any kind. So these are the things what we can do now. And these are the requirements. Once these we achieve in a larger form, in a larger number, then this next movement will come, which will be a place where the government and the UN and other all so-called persons who are responsible for running the whole world will come down and ask and negotiate. That time they will put what exactly we need. So first of all, we have to bring ourselves in a very strong form. Until and unless we don't come into that strong form. Definitely you are putting this all discussion online, and a lot of people are watching, but that's not sufficient. We have to even come out on the ground and start work. Like what work I'm doing, if I start talking here about creative society and creative society, start talking with the Indian publics about Sakyam. So the public will definitely come to know, and there will be not just one Sakya or not just one Iqbal or Rahul or anyone from India. There will be no diplomatic people who will be just rushing after their greed and gains. There will be only people who will be looking for their other supports.
Yes, thank you so much. It's really wonderful when we can really, unite our potential, unite our understandings, and also think and talk about the issue that we have in our on places, and start these discussions. So how they can be solved in the creative society, because this both brings us understanding. It's actually open our mouths. And usually people discuss such kind of problems somewhere between family members, during some evenings, like in the kitchen or somewhere, but they not talk openly about it. And it's very important to start the discussion, to start talking about solution. And it will be really great when we'll see that this is rising, and we'll exactly see how everything is possible when we are just united.
Yes, and I can see that Benny is already back. So, Benny, it was very interesting to hear you. Can you please continue sharing your view about the technologies.
Ja, nochmals Entschuldigung für die
Yes, and sorry again about the quality of internet connection. We were discussing technologies that should be used for humanity, for medicine, for human life. And there are some really wonderful technologies. They don't need to be explored. They are already out there. And you asked me how I imagine these technologies can be used humanly for my loved ones, my family, my people in the creative society. And really, all these technologies, whether it's free energy, whether it's rapid house construction technology, whether it's the technology to change our food in the best way possible, it doesn't matter what the technology is. If it's humane and it's for improving human life, then the technology is on the right side. This requires science, researchers, experts, and the unification of this complex. So this is our great opportunity in the creative society where we all are united. And then technology will be used where it's needed for humanity, for life, for the life of each individual and all of humanity. And if human life is improved, if all technology is used to enhance human life, then the planet is automatically improved. Then nature automatically improves. Then the economy improves. This is exactly what technology and the creative society gives. In my view, it should bring one thing above all these: the time. A time for self-development, for opening up human life, for doing what moves a person from within. Not demonstrations of revolutions, but really human evolution. And I think the greatest advantage of technology is to allow us to use that time. 4 working days a week for 4 hours. How many people can imagine that? Yes, how many people today can stand 10, 12, 16 hours of hard work? They are in a constant cycle that makes them run in their hamster wheel, not even allowing them to think that it would be nice to have time for themselves, to have time to develop their own personality. And I think that time for human development is probably the greatest possible advantage of a creative society. A time for human unity and time for human life. Isn't that the most valuable thing? Thank you.
Thank you, Benny. Thank you. Thank you for sharing these words with us. It's really what inspires a lot. That in creative society we'll have time for everything, especially for time for your own personal development and time to be more with your family, because like in everyday life we are missing this, and we always have some excuses or we can go spend more time because of the job, because of the overworking or some second job, or there are a lot of difficulties that we face in our consumer format. You need to have more money and etc. But in creative society everything will be different, with basic income, with all the opportunities that we will have, with no borders, when you can just go across with your family to any other place. You will get a living apartment there, and you can spend as much time as you want near the ocean. or in the forest, mountains, and just it will be everything available because it is just the society, the whole world made for people. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be in a normal society, in the creative one. And I also would like to ask you, Benny, can you please share with us what a normal person, like with family, with a lot of tasks, actually can do in order to spread the message of the creative society? What are you doing? Please, can you share your experience?
Einfach anfangen zu reden.
Just to start talking.
Egal,
No
wo ich
matter where I am.
egal was ich
It
mache.
doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Bin Familienvater.
I'm a family
Ich
guy.
komme
I'm a father.
mit dem
I
einen Kind
speak
zum
to
Kindergarten.
people when I take my first child to kindergarten.
Jeder Mensch
Everyone has these problems that our forum touched on.
Jeder Mensch
Every
kennt
person is familiar with them.
und jeder
And
Mensch, wenn man
every
sich
person,
nur
if you
dem
just
Gespräch
approach
annähert
the
und nur
conversation
zuhört,
and just listen, you can
dann kommt
touch
mit
on
jedem
each
dieser
of these
Themen
topics.
in einem Gespräch. Und
And
mit dem anderen Kind
the
fahre ich
second
zur
child
Schule.
I take to school.
Auch dort sind wiederum Eltern.
There are parents
Auch
there
diese
too.
Eltern haben genau
Those
die Probleme.
parents have
Wir
the
können
same
einfach
problems
anfangen zu
too.
übernehmen. Und es ist
We can just
irrelevant,
start
ob ich
talking,
Vater oder Mutter
and
bin,
it doesn't
oder ob ich
really
einfach Mann
matter
oder
whether
Frau
I am a
oder ob ich
father or a
einfach
mother,
Freund oder
whether I'm a
Bekannter
man or a woman, whether I'm
ist
a
das
friend
Leben
or an
meines Freundes
acquaintance.
oder ist das
Isn't
Leben meiner
my friend's
Schwester
life
oder ist das
or
Leben
my
meines
sister's
Bruders
life or my
nicht
brother's
genau
life
hat es nicht den
not
gleichen Wert wie
exactly the
mein,
same?
möchte ich
Doesn't it
nicht
have the
immer
same
der
value as
Superheld
mine?
sein,
Don't I
Superman oder die
don't I
das
always
Projekt
want to
Kreative
be a
Gesellschaft
superhero?
gibt uns die
The
Chance dazu.
Creative Society
Vor dem
Project
drohenden
gives us
Gefahr
an opportunity
wirklich
to
zu
really
bewahren
protect
und zu
and
informieren.
inform about impending
Und
dangers.
Menschen, die in
All
sozialen
people
Netzwerken
have
vernetzt sind,
connections on
egal,
social
Facebook,
media,
TikTok,
anything,
Twitter,
Facebook,
wir
TikTok,
können die Links
Twitter.
verbreiten zu unserem
We can
Forum.
spread
Wir
links
können die
about our
Links
forum.
verbreiten zu diesen
We can
ganzen Ausschnitten, die geteilt werden.
distribute links to all these
Es
videos that are
bedarf
being
wirklich
shared now.
sehr
It
wenig
really
Zeit.
takes a
Ohne
very
zu
small
haben,
amount of time,
privaten Zeit
our
für
personal
etwas
time,
Großes zu
to do
vollbringen.
something great.
Wir müssen einfach nur anfangen.
We just have to
Nicht mehr auf
start.
der Couch zu sitzen
Stop sitting on the couch
und sich
and
Horrorfilme
watching
anzusehen,
horror
die einem
movies
keine Angst machen
that don't scare,
und sich dann unser Forum
and then
anzusehen,
watch our forum,
die einem dann Angst
which
machen.
is really scary.
Es ist Zeit zum Handeln.
It's time to act,
Und wir alle
and
können
we
handeln.
can all act.
Und es liegt nur an uns.
It is just up to
Also,
us.
Freunde,
So,
macht
friends,
alle den ersten Schritt.
everybody
Geht
take
raus
the first
und
step.
redet.
Get out there and
Und dann
talk.
wird sich was
And
Großes,
then
was richtig
something
Großes,
big,
wird
something
sich uns
really
offenbaren.
great will open up
Und
to
die
us.
kreative Gesellschaft
And the creative society
überall
will
umgesetzt
be
werden.
implemented everywhere.
Ich danke euch.
Thank
Und
you
alle,
to
die heute
everyone
auch mit uns sind,
who
das
is with
technische
us
Team,
today, the
die
technical
Übersetzer,
team,
die
the
Moderatoren,
translators, the
Sakia,
presenters.
ich danke
Sakia,
euch.
thank
Ihr
you.
seid wirklich
You
die
really
wahren Helden
are the real
dieser Zeit.
heroes of this time.
Ich
And I
hoffe,
hope
nicht nur meine Kinder,
that
sondern
not
auch eure
only
werden
my
euch sehr
children,
dankbar
but
dafür sein.
yours will be very
Danke euch.
grateful to you. Thanks so much.
Danke, Benny. Thank you. I also say that Zakia with us. Can you please do you have some wishes to our viewers, or can you please shortly share?
Look, a lot of viewers who are listening, definitely the one and only thing initial they could do is to establish this complete session and publish this complete session in the whole social media they are having or any gathering where they are. Why? Because these sessions will definitely make the person who is getting connected that what exactly is the motive of creative society and what aims we are working on. Once they get influenced after looking to this videos or talks, you can say, then they will definitely come out and ask that particular person to get him or her connected with this. So that will be the best, initiative for our viewers to start with. Apart from this, as a part of creative society, what is our role? It's not lesser than the end of counting the complete star, because where we are, we have just collected one star, and we have to collect the complete solar system. So it's enormous works to be taken care, and it's like creative society itself is not running under any kind of diplomatic people. So it's every individual's part to come out with the best he or she can do by talking with in public gathering and everywhere, by making them understand that, okay, pains and problems is never going to be end. But there is always another way to come out with the solution. And you should always look for a better picture. You should never say it's a half glass empty. It's always a half glass full. So until and unless you don't keep this in your mind, you are not going to success. Before ending, I will say one more thing from my life, because although I'm not that aged, but the experience what I have got from the field is a lot. And when I start talking about my life's experience, it's really become very hard to pick and choose what exact event I have to talk about and what exact example I have to give. So whenever I go for any kind of support for any domestic violence or any other violence, victim, especially women, so I always say, because they don't get any support from their family members, not even from their mother. In fact, mothers and sisters and their family relatives were the first to oppose her decision. So I always say that, okay, this is me and this is my finger. I'm going to just support you this top of the fingers. Further, apart from this, you have to make a move. Anybody, in fact, nobody can help you. It's only you and you who have to move. So in the same way, each of us have to move on with the best inside us. Only creative society is going to give us this. And that is sufficient enough to come out. Because moral and other supports are very important. And not just moral, when you come and get interacting with people and you come to know their issues, you have a lot of solutions in your mind. Okay, you have these problems. Okay, wait, I will connect you with this person. He will resolve it. Oh, you have this problem, wait, I might be helpful because I had a conversation with this guy and he was very good in this enough. So this is how we make a chain, Word of mouth work above than any other multi-level marketing or any B2B or anything in the world. How much advertisement they do, how much publicity that they do, it is not going to work. But in a whole day, when you talk about something, maybe I'm talking about my goggles, maybe I'm talking about my hijab. So these words of mouth influence much more in comparison to any other thing. And when you are talking about someone's life security, making their life safer, definitely they are going to listen. They cannot ignore it. They will never ignore it. and they will appreciate, and they will always come out with you to join. So that's what we can do, and our viewers can do. That's it. It was a lovely session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's really a very inspiring session and inspiring dialogue, because we understand that everything actually depends solely on us. And as you said, that we alone, we can do just a bit. But just imagine what will be if we all, the whole world, will be united in one goal. It just, you just cannot simply imagine that, but this power, the people who have access to all the resources, educational resources, we have some technologies right now, but we can develop much more. If everyone will be well educated, if everyone will have time and inspiration to really develop something new, something good for others, and you will, the only issue that we do, how much can I be more beneficial for the society? How much can I do? What more I can do? How can I spend my time more efficiently in order to make life of others more easier, more lighter, more happy? How can be happy? Because when you make the life of others happy, you will be happy yourself. And that's really what is really inspiring a lot. And friends, please, if you have your own understandings, if you have your own vision, please share it with us. Write to our social networks, write to our email at info@creativesociety.com. You can also share your understanding with your friends in social networks. You can use all the accounts. You can tag our accounts in social network that you see right now here below. And it's really what the message can be spread only through our help, through our own actions. That exactly what is most important action right now. So friends, today you have heard many examples of the society that everyone would like to live in. And we really just need to start talking about it. Because really it's really important, and we need to create this electoral demand. We need to inform people about creative society. And we just need to declare that we are people and we want to live.
Yes, thank you. And obviously, we are people, we want to live. And if this will be heard from every one of us, if we unite and create this demand, then the politicians will have no other choice but just to fulfill what we all people, choose. And towards the end, I would like to quote what Jana was saying during the forum, which is very important. Every day of our inaction in the consumer format of society is a missed opportunity and ruined lives. And every day of active informing about the creative society is a chance to save people's lives and survival for all mankind. The choices, truth, and actions of each person are now more important than ever. So friends, what we choose today will become our reality tomorrow. Herewith, I would like to thank very much our dear guests, Zakia and Benjamin. Thank you all viewers, and we are looking forward to see you in one of the next episodes of International Discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're also inviting you, our dear guests, to take part as a guest at the international discussions and share your view on how the creative society can improve our lives. So thank you, and hopefully to see you with us.
Do you know that people stopped being silent? International discussions.
The truth is that when it comes to migrations and refugees, it is a business.
I saw the market where the children selling out openly.
4 days we were facing the sniper shot us and the bullets above our heads.
If we do not address such issues like human trafficking, tomorrow it could be you, tomorrow it could be me.
Politics is driving the science, not the science driving the politics.
Many people want us to stop to talk, but I say no. This reality can affect and can take your life anytime.
People are losing everything.
$270 trillion.
Where is the money? And where is the result?
This 12,068-year cycle is a clock cycle.
All these problems that we're facing right now, you cannot tackle alone.
Thank goodness we have the creative society
to choose human life over currency.
We're living in one big home, and if this big family fighting with each other, destroying walls of the home, tomorrow we will find ourselves in the streets without a roof, without the families.
From every corner, we can actually hear that it is not economically beneficial. But the question is, economically, it is not beneficial for whom? Isn't beneficial for us people to save our own lives?
We need to bring together all of the intellect, all to the science, all of the people that can actually do something.
I think that the members of Creative Society are the new and real superheroes.
These people already understand that we should urgently act. Do you want to become part of changes? Take action. Don't be silent. You are invited to the new season of international discussions. Watch the forum, Global Crisis. We are people. We want to live. Changes begin from you.